Oh, yes, Morgan. Trade season is officially upon us because we got a big one.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we had a big trade. Well, we got a massive one in the NBA today. The Pascal Siakam sweepstakes all over. The Indiana Pacers land him. And I know what some people are thinking. Yeah, but what a risk this could be. They're giving up 3 picks. Bruce Brown's expiring contract. Jordan Noira's contract. What are they doing? Well, Woj is reporting that he is excited about playing with Tyrese Halliburton, excited to be with the Pacers, and is expected to be eager to work out a new contract with the franchise this summer. So the Raptors move on from Siakam. Let's start with the Pacers angle to this. They've been really fun to watch in the East. They're not a finished product by any means.
No.
But Tyrese Halliburton is one of the best young players in the league, and now they got something to go alongside him.
That's it. Well, that right there, something to go alongside him on the offensive end. And then you look at the Pacers' non-existent defense that I think has shown a few flashes here and there that there could be something there. Maybe at some point you had Pascal Siakam in there and you're already on the right track. Sure, one person can't be the answer to all of your defense, but at the same time, you are still pushing in the right direction, and I'm excited for that for them. But I also do, like you said, go to the offensive end, and you have something else next to Tyrese Halliburton, so it's not going to be all on him trying to take some step back threes, or when teams start to blitz him more and more and more and figuring out his game, it's like he has someone else that can take over.
Morgan, we were at the in-season tournament championship in Vegas. Lakers taking on the Pacers, and the Lakers just blitz, as you mentioned.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of.
And it presented some crazy problems for the Pacers. You're looking around going, who else is going to step up? Well, now you've got another guy that can go get you a bucket. And I think from Siakam's perspective, he was tied to so many teams, right? Sacramento being one of them. You're wondering, why does he want to go play with the Pacers? To me, this makes so much sense for him. I think Tyrese Halliburton is a fun player to play with. He plays with joy. He's going to get you the ball. You're going to play fast and play free. Number two, he doesn't have to be a number 2 or number 3 on a team. I think there you're going, he's probably a 1B. And sometimes he might be the guy.
Right. And he might even think he's a 1A here. Like, I am the guy. This is what the market is for me and what people want for me around the league. And that's what I believe I can be. No, you're exactly right about that. And that's huge, especially when you talk about what Woj put out there about him being excited about playing with Tyrese and Miles Turner and being coached by Rick Carlisle and going, okay, this could be a place where it becomes a new home for Pascal Siakam. A lot of things make sense there.
Now, the pick situation, you're probably wondering, 3 firsts for a guy who could walk. He technically could walk, and we have seen players say that they're staying and then end up dipping. Kyrie Irving, a big example with Boston, right? But it sounds like it's tracking that he'll stay with the Indiana Pacers. The details on the picks, it's a 2024. There's 2 first-rounders, 1 from Indiana, which the way they're playing, it's not going to be a super high pick. And 1 is via the worst of Oklahoma City, Utah, Houston, Clippers.
Okay.
So whatever, the worst pick from that group.
Okay.
So that's going to be kind of like in the 20s. And then 1 first rounder from Indiana in 2026, but it's top 4 protected.
Okay.
So I'm not trying to diminish the pick situation here, but for Indiana, it's like, hey, we want a guy that can go with Tyrese Halliburton. This is a good gamble for them, especially if they believe that they could keep Siakam here long term. And then big picture wise, I think so many people are going to go, well, what's this mean? They're not going to beat Boston this year. Who cares about this year? This year is about getting to the playoffs, getting that experience to Tyrese Halliburton, some playoff experience, and building from there. In addition to that, Morgan, they didn't have to give up Ben Mathurin in this deal. They didn't have to give up any of their young players in this deal or Buddy Hield's expiring contract. There are still moves that could be made from this Indiana team. So I love this move by the Pacers. I think it puts them in a really good spot going forward. And you know what? They've given a lot to Tyrese Halliburton from a contract, his new contract and all that, max deal. Well, now they're showing we're going to get some pieces around you.
Yeah, and like you said, it was just the right situation for both sides, right? Masai really wanted those 3 first-round picks from probably any team in this league that he was dealing with. And who actually could give that up and be in that position? Well, the Indiana Pacers were in a really good position. And on top of all of that, when you look at this situation for Pascal and what he was saying about Sacramento, like, I don't intend on re-signing there. So then you know right there that it's a rental that you have to beg to
Yeah,
stay.
yeah.
Where in Indiana, you're already hearing him going like, I could see myself here being the star, doing what I need to do, make a lot of money, play with Tyrese Halliburton, be coached by Rick Carlisle. So I get all of these different things, and Indiana having to give up those 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, and I going back to Sacramento too. It's like you get why he maybe wouldn't want to be here.
De'Aaron, Domas Sabonis,
even
Keegan Murray.
And then, so you're trying to figure out where you fit into that. That's a question mark, right? And then Sacramento, are you going to give up multiple first rounders for a guy, like you said, that could be here for 2.5 months and say, dip, I'm out. See you later. That would put you in a really tough spot. But Indiana, man, what a big time move for them, especially if Siakam stays there. From the Raptors' perspective on this, I mean, I think they did pretty well. You get 3 first-round picks, and even if they're not like, oh my God, these are top picks in the draft, you could still package them in trades. And we're seeing what OKC's done with picks for years and years, and they still haven't totally capitalized on all that yet in terms of making a big trade. But they got Bruce Brown, who's got a team option for next year. They're probably not going to pick it up. It's worth $22 million. Oof. This is not a big deal. So now with OG, who wasn't going to stay there, they got young assets back. And then for Siakam, who they weren't going to keep because they weren't going to give him the Supermax if he qualified for it, they got 3 first-round picks and expirings. It's not bad.
It's definitely not bad. I think when you look at both sides, you go, okay, well, it sounds like it works for both sides. I think if you really take a step back, because this is what people that consume the NBA like to do and pick apart, is go, well, hindsight, should you have done something with Pascal Siakam last year? But maybe you weren't. You truly weren't ready for that transition away from Pascal Siakam, and that sometimes that thought process of, oh, we can get the most for this guy no matter what year it's going to be, no matter what his contract is and everything. And you still did get a lot of assets out of this with those 3 first-round picks. And Bruce Brown, like you said, expiring. Maybe
they trade him for something else soon. Like maybe you can find a team that's like, hey, Bruce Brown, we could use him on a team that's trying to make a push here. Maybe you get an additional asset from that.
And I also go too, because now you look at Scotty Barnes and his future with the Raptors, and you go, you're exactly right. How do you make his life easier and better as soon as possible with some of these assets, with Bruce Brown? So yeah, I'm excited to see where Toronto goes from this. I'm intrigued to see where Indiana goes from this.
My one question, I guess, just thinking about this, because this is our instant reaction, right? I think we're going to be looking at the Siakam deal and go, was this the right player at this time to go get? Like, I have no doubt he's going to help them. I'm a big Siakam fan.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an all-star level player.
Yeah.
Can get you a bucket. Does a lot out there. Even defensively, some people are like, oh, he's up and down. You know what? For that Pacers team, he's long, athletic with Miles Turner out there. I think he'll do pretty well.
Agreed.
But was this the move? He's 29. You're going to plan on keeping him. Is that the right target? Could they have been more patient with their approach? Did they need to do this now? Could they have waited a little bit longer to maybe execute a plan like this?
Well, this is what I'll say. From 2 people that cover a lot of Sacramento Kings basketball, and we're looking at this trade deadline, how many times have we said, Monty and West, get something done now, something done now before everyone is, used up, before all the big players are gone? And I think when you look at this situation, even for the Sacramento Kings, it was, I don't know about you, but me personally, I started moving away from this once that article came out in The Athletic that he was not going to, that he does not intend and was not excited to be with Sacramento and did not intend to sign on any further, even if, I thought that maybe this organization could sell him on why it could be a good place to stay. So I look at that situation, I go, okay, I get it all. But now I go and look at this trade deadline, and you talk about, okay, was this the right move for Indiana? Could they have been more patient with things? I think sometimes you gotta what is
strike when the iron's hot.
Yeah,
I knew where you're going. Well, the other thing I'm curious about too is, does this trade trigger some more activity now? Because for whatever reason, and I guess I get it, deadline spur action, but we always have to wait until the deadline for these deals to happen. And this is a deal that went down a couple of weeks before now, right? About 3 weeks before the trade deadline, whatever it is. Does this motivate other teams out there to go, you know what, we got to do something? Specifically, the Kings coming off a couple of bad losses. They're playing kind of 500 basketball recently. You can tell they need an injection of something. they explored the Siakam
They did.
angle. Now, are they pivoting? Is it a Kuzma? Is it DeJounte Murray? Is it Zach LaVine out there? There's some questions. Or do they take more of like a, let's check in on Bruce Brown. I'm just throwing a random name out there. What do they do? But I just wonder if this leads to more activity now as opposed to waiting until deadline day.
And I hope it does. And I think the realization, too, of realizing what type of tier of player you need with what you have right now within the Sacramento Kings organization. Because if you weren't going to get a guy that already thought in his head that no matter what, he had to be 1A, 1B, it's like, then that's not going to work going forward in the future. You got to make sure you're gathering the right pieces that understand what their role is going to be when Domas is on the floor, when Fox is on the floor, when Keegan's on the floor, and even when Monk's on the floor. I mean, that's someone else that we've seen when the ball is in his hands, the playmaking's happening, good things are happening. So, yeah, I'm curious what tier of player the Sacramento Kings organization could go from here now that Pascal Siakam has gone to Indiana.
Can't wait. Of course, we will break it down as soon as big deals happen. Let us know in the comments below how you feel about this trade. What do you think about what the Pacers did, how the Raptors did in this deal, and what other moves do you anticipate happening? Drop the comments below and make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Appreciate you guys.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.